first for coming in last. Went to the bank, happy alive. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap.
Welcome welcome all to Woodcrest Certified, episode 30. Dirty 30. Yo, our podcast is like old now, right? Because we're like 30. Is that how that works? Once you hit the.
No, dude, 30's not old.
Yeah, I know. I'm just listening. I was just talking shit because y'all are 30.
30's experienced.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, welcome. Once again, as you always hear in the beginning, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what y'all think. Ring that bell notification. Let us know if you agree, you disagree with some of the stuff we're saying, if there's stuff you guys want us to hit on and talk about in future episodes. So coming into this one, kind of like I was saying off camera. So I was talking to a client earlier this week, and we're talking about some high, like good experiences, so high dollar opportunities. And he was saying that just so you know, just based off of the way that economy is looking right now, like I don't feel super tight, but I feel a little bit of pressure starting to. I feel some tightening starting to happen, and I was confused because I was like, I didn't realize like the economy is going down a downward trend. So to my economists here, if you want to share your insight on kind of where we're at and whether we're kind of going down that trajectory or not, because y'all pay attention to that stuff a lot more than I do.
So, so I want to start off by saying that when people are talking about the state of the economy, although this shit is bothering me, let me be right back. When people talk about the state of the economy, the majority of people, in my experience, are literally just focusing on who they voted for. So if you voted for the guy who's in charge, the economy is good. If you didn't vote for the guy in charge, the economy is bad. And the reason people go,
I'll be back.
All right.
You said what?
He said he'll be right back. He's gonna go let his brother in, but you keep going.
Yeah. So like the reason it's like that is because people focus, like they hyper focus on certain things. So like when we're saying the economy is in a downward spiral, like stocks are still really good. Unemployment is low, right? Like we have all-time high, like pay, right? Like people are getting paid a lot more than they were, 10 years ago. It's inflation that's really bad. You know what I'm saying?
How do you combat that?
Interest rates.
By raising them?
Yes. So what ends up happening is that, and this happens almost after every Republican president, because this is just a fact. They get really lax with regulations, and they do a lot of tax cuts. So the amount of money that gets spent circulates a lot faster. There's a lot more money in circulation. And eventually what happens is when there's so much money being pumped in, the cost of or the worth of your individual dollar goes down. Think of it like the housing market, right? Mm-hmm. When there's a bunch more people that want houses versus the actual houses that they can buy, what ends up happening? The prices of those houses go up. And what's supposed to happen is that eventually the prices get so high that a bunch of people are like, fuck this shit. I can't buy a house, right? Mm-hmm. So when the demand starts to drop and the supply exceeds that demand, there's all these houses now, and there's not enough people who want houses to buy them, then the prices go down, right? Yeah. But what happens like in this situation where, like in Florida, for example, where we got all these New Yorkers that are coming down and they're willing to pay fucking cash, right? Like these niggas make much more bread up there and they come with all their savings and spend it all on a fucking house. The demand just continues to go up as prices continue to go up. So in cases like this, we have to raise interest rates. So not only are the prices of the houses going up, now like the people who want to borrow money are going to be a lot less likely to borrow money. You know what I'm saying? And that's what also forces us into like a forced depression. Not like the depression's not a good name, but you know what I'm talking about. Into like that cycle,
that recession, son.
Yeah, like because this is all the economy is doing constantly. It's just moving like this.
So I don't understand, and I know like this shit's been explained to me, but it still doesn't make sense to me as far as like if there's so much money circulating and stuff, like I don't understand inflation when the dollar's not backed by anything. So like why is it, because pretty much what happens is the Fed decides that the dollar's worth this. So then why is it that they like low I just don't understand, right? Because if like we make the decisions pretty much on what it's fucking worth almost, and then if the spending is what like boosts the economy, so then like I don't understand how we run into the issue, I guess.
The Fed doesn't dictate the price of the dollar, the market does. Right? So like in our situation, a huge part of the inflation is the supply chain shortages. Right? So like the reason milk is so high is because it's costing them a lot more to get it to you.
That I understand.
Right? And like what the Fed does is that they analyze the situation and they act accordingly.
So then, oh, so it's just because of the fucking prices it takes to make some shit or bring some shit in or whatever. Like that's what causes, I guess.
Not just that. It's part of. I mean, it's a multi-layered equation, right? Like a huge part of this is that we're getting stimulus checks and people had a shit ton of money to spend.
Yeah.
So they were throwing this money all over the place, and it just sends this economy into almost like this pseudo artificial turbocharge where like there's all this money being spent, and then you add on the fact that the supply chains can't maintain the demand, and that combined created a situation where there's just not enough stuff to support the buying power of the consumers. You know what I'm saying? So like if there's 10 TVs and there's 30 niggas who want to buy TVs, just like the houses, they go up.
Yeah.
You know, and they continue to go up until niggas don't want to buy TVs no more. So the Fed, again, they don't like, hey, this is how much the dollar costs. They're like the scientists figuring out how much it's going to cost, how much it costs now, and what's our trajectory. Like from now until November, what's going to be the difference in the consumer's buying power, and what do they have to do to keep it as, like to maintain it? I don't want to say low because that's bad. To maintain it as well as possible. And usually what they do is they raise interest rates.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense, I guess, on that end. Like, are we about to get fucked like really hard on sorry, pause, but with the supply issues, like the shit's just getting kind of worse and worse. And it's like starting to get more noticeable type of shit. So like this is, I feel like, have we ever been in this type of situation where we have?
Yeah, the 70s.
Damn, that's so long ago though. Fuck that.
Yeah, the 70s. The 70s is probably the closest example. But like, what do you mean? Like we're getting fucked? Fucked in what sense?
Well, so like, there's the labor shortage. So like, you know, these manufacturing companies can't get people. There's the like supply shortage. So like, I talk to my clients that are like in metal, for example, and the cost and the ability to get metal is very difficult right now to do anything. So there's that. Then there's the issues with the importing and exporting with the docks and trying to get shit in, just on that end as well. So like I feel like we've seen and felt gradual effects, but I feel like it's starting to maybe get worse and worse. I mean, and like Pete was saying with Nike earlier today in the group chat, and where like Tommy was talking about that there's no fucking shoes at the clearance store, and it's because there's just no shoes. Like the shortages are crazy.
Yeah,
You know
when
what
Okay,
I'm
he
saying?
made
so
when he made that
Shout out
statement too,
Tommy.
I'm like, bro, you wasn't in the same earth at the same time as everybody. Like this is not new. It's been going like the P5, one of the components in the SSD or the basically the memory card that's inside of it is low because a lot of that stuff don't come from here.
Yeah.
Like so with the
Where it come
whole
from?
China. So with the whole shutting down the earth, goddamn it, because every country was damn near shut down to a certain extent. Where do you think we was getting this stuff from? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
You
so
think Ennis
people,
Cantor have a P5?
This man want to bring up Ennis Cantor. But even to that point too, I forgot about that too. But like the chip shortage is crazy too.
yeah,
so probably like the most relatable example is the industry that I'm in, the car business,
Gross.
right? Because like we're getting hit with all that shit. Like the chips prevent cars from being manufactured, and then the ones that are being manufactured are being held up at the docks because there's not enough people at customs.
Yeah.
And then when it goes through customs, there's not enough drivers to deliver them, right?
Mhm.
So we're getting fucked in every single sector, right? So what ends up happening is like Peterson's brother was telling me, the used car market goes up.
Mm.
Mhm.
So now a used car that might have been worth, like the one that I sold him, probably he could have got for like 13,000 or 12,000 4 years ago. But since we're in this market, he had to pay what he paid. You know what I mean?
Damn, you screwed over his brother, dog.
Nah, I mean it's
Nah,
if he would have
nah, I'm
went
just
to
messing.
me, or it's just the market, you know what I mean?
Nah, I'm just messing with you.
I had a question on the economy too. Like, you know how Rook was like, do you think something's about to happen? Why is it that, and maybe we don't have the answers in here, but why is it that people is not making as much, but then like, especially in the real estate market, the rent jumped up in certain places 100%. It doubled in certain places. Why is that okay? There's no way to control that or make that make sense.
I mean, there's areas that have controlled rent, but I mean, at the end of the day, like these people that buy this shit, they could dictate that, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, if people
But
are gonna pay it, you'll find people willing to pay whatever the fuck it is, unless they're like asking for a bunch of money for a very shitty place.
yeah, but people, what's crazy, because you said people are going to pay, which is true, but they're not paying it with the conventional means. There's a lot of people, especially even here, that staying with people that they don't even like. Or this dude that I know from Kenya, he had an issue recently and he wanted to like mollywop his roommates, but it's four of them that live together. It's him, his girlfriend. It used to be his homeboy, but they're not friends no more, and his girlfriend. But so they separate an apartment, can't stand each other, but everything went up so much, it's like they don't know what to do at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like a 3-2 where I stay at is 2,700 a month.
Oof.
That's wild. Like, who controls that? The government can't step in and be like, yo, what are y'all doing? People can't afford this shit.
I mean, it's private properties at that point, right? Like I said, it's people that are purchasing the areas and they get to dictate whatever the fuck they want to charge.
Right. Like if that girl charged people $500 for her bath water, the government can't be like, nah, you can't sell it. Like if people are willing to buy it, that's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
at that point, I feel like that's two different. I don't need to buy her bath water, but I need somewhere to stay.
Yeah, and then they'll just say go somewhere else.
Yeah, but all these places is damn near the same shit. Like, cause I've been shopping around. They literally, unless you try to get into like low income places, but these low income places got like a 10.5 year waiting list. So at that point, you're gonna be homeless. Like literally.
That is honestly a good and interesting kind of topic point where it's like fucking interest and whatever, like everything is so much more expensive now. But then like jobs, their pay will be like the same, or they'll, you get your yearly merit bonus or whatever, it'll be like 3%, but interest is up like fucking 15, 20, 30%. You know what I'm saying? So like the cost of living is so much higher. So I feel like at that point, it's kind of like more on the work side of things, ain't it? Than it is on the apartment side of things. Like granted, it's kind of like the fucking Jaguars who are overpaying these guys, and now like the rest of the market has to significantly overpay the other wide receivers or whatever in the league because like they're setting the market. I feel like that's the same shit where it's like they're fucking setting the market with the rent, but then like on the other side, your job's not like matching what the market is fucking doing for standards of living.
But that's a catch-22 though, because if my job, like a basic job like Nike that I shouldn't keep long, right? It's supposed to be like a high school job. If they pay me $40 an hour for that bullshit that I do in there, the prices of shoes instead of retailing $220 gonna go up to $450. So yeah, you're gonna give me a crazier increase, but where is it going? Like you said,
They're either gonna do that or they're just gonna cut staff,
which drastically. So now you run into another catch-22. There's only gonna be 4 niggas in the building that can work.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's more on because Chris said something probably in person. Yeah, you did at Air House. A lot of people, because his boss is complaining about paying like $5K a month on his house. A lot of people, housing is at least 50% of their income.
Yeah.
So if you jump it to the point where I can't afford it no more, you getting it to the point where people is paying 70% of their incomes just to have somewhere to stay. That's wild.
So let's use California as an example, because like I feel like California is a perfect example of what you're talking about. When you're talking about like San Francisco and Los Angeles, their homelessness is insane. Like we're talking about like historic highs across the fucking world. Like, you know what I mean? It's insane. And that's exactly what it is, where this situation basically would be regulated by the market itself, right? The only way to alleviate the pressure in this market is to build affordable housing, right? But that doesn't really benefit the people who make these decisions, right? So like, again, in the case of California, you have a plot of land, and instead of building a fucking mansion, you build a fucking complex that can house hundreds of people, right? Or, dozens of people at least, right? That's dozens of people who could fit into one place. The person who owns that complex still makes their profit, and we got a bunch of people off the streets. But when you build one fucking mansion and one person ends up spending $1 million for it, then guess what? Like, these other people are trying to spend somewhere else, which increases the demand other places, which brings up the prices. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like it's really like it's really on us, but it's kind of not.
I feel like we ain't got no control over that though. Like,
right.
because if I had the full control, even in my apartment, I signed an 18-month lease on purpose because I knew, like, what Rook said, they give you a 3% raise at your job, but then the housing, the rent boomed up 50% minimum. So what the fuck is 3% to 50%?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when I left from here, even though I was in an income restricted place, but the difference wasn't too crazy. In 2015, when I left, my rent was $450 for a 1-1. You get what I'm saying? It went up 4 times, literally, from 2015 to now. Went up 4 times for a 1-1. That's wild, but people is not making 4 times the pay though.
Yeah, I mean, what is going to end up happening? Like, one side's going to break, but one side has more power, so historically the other side breaks a lot easier. So the middle class becomes smaller, poverty increases.
Of course,
all these people that are on this side either have to choose whether I'm going to stay here and these people end up homeless, or you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, which is crazy. I think in a way that shit is kind of sick too, though. Like,
What's crazy is like what we talked about or last week, where this is the design. Like this is how capitalism is supposed to work.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but this is the ugly side of it. This is the one that nobody ever wants to talk about. You know what I mean?
But I think even on this side, it's like this is you know how nobody likes to talk about the extremes. They be like, "Oh, that ain't gonna happen in a million years." I feel like what's going on now is the extreme side of capitalism, and then everybody's just act like they don't see this shit. It's like the speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil type shit. It's like just because you want to hide away from it, don't mean it's not happening.
I don't think it's
Oh,
the hideaway thing. It's like you just don't got a choice.
no,
No,
it's
but
not.
I'm talking about on the other end though.
Oh, you talk about like the people that are fucking setting the prices and shit all
Yeah, it's
around.
like they don't want to speak on it. It's like, nah, I've been like this. Like, cap.
Yeah, no, but those people are, they're a small percentage. Like obviously, like if I'm making money off of this shit, if houses are going up and I'm in charge of selling houses, I'm happy, right? Or I'm a builder. I own a construction company that builds houses. I'm not going to complain about the economy. I'm fucking eating. When we're talking about like the general consensus, and this is another conversation that we had when you were letting Jason in. Is that it's just a real low understanding about how things work. And we focus on things based off of our own biases. So there's a huge portion of this country who's looking at inflation and they're like, oh, it's because you voted for Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like it.
Yeah. So it's like, that's just how it works, where it's like, you voted this guy, so it's your fault that the housing market is crazy. But it's like, nah, bro, you don't understand how these things work.
Hey, Chris, it's funny that you say that because I actually went to the ice cream spot by the crib, and the dude has like a sign up on a printout with his own handwriting on it that says like, um, "You should have stayed out of the voting booth. Like, if you don't like what's going on." Like, it's just funny that you mentioned that.
This is what I'm
I've heard
saying,
stories about this guy, and it's like he's one of those.
like that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, I'm telling you, like the people with the lowest understanding tend to be the fucking loudest. They're the first ones. They're the first ones to tell you that they know exactly what the fuck is going on. And this is why, like, politics I'm saying becomes, but it's probably always been this. It's just like more transparent and more obnoxious now. Where like our political affiliations are almost like the college football teams that we root for. You know what I'm saying? Like it's completely irrational, very little logic. It's just my guy's correct, and if you vote for my guy, rainbows are gonna come out of all of our ass. Or if you vote for the other guy, it's gonna be an apocalypse. And since Joe Biden is in office and the so-called apocalypse happened, they get to run around and do their victory lap, even though we're all suffering. They're all fucking happy that they can beat I'm right, even though they're not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how it fucking works, bro.
Yeah, because when Trump was in office, the other side took their victory laps. We told y'all that this motherfucker was gonna be an egomaniac and a fuck nigga or whatever, all this crazy shit. So it's like we still all suffering, bro. Like, like either way. I
Like
don't know.
niggas was losing their shit over the pandemic, and it's like I'm pretty sure I said this in an episode. If not, I said this somewhere where I'm like, there's only so much Trump could have done about the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like they shut down New York, they went crazy, and they're still suffering the effects. You know what I'm saying? Like you're either gonna get hit with a pandemic earlier or later. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To your like politics becomes like room for your football team or whatever. I honestly feel like it's probably always been like that. We're just like older now. So it applies more. Like I feel like we just pay more attention to it, more involved in it.
Like what I said to Peterson and Kenny the day that we were talking about social media's influence, it's just increased the amount of people in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it made the world flat.
Yeah, like there was a point in time where you only cared about politics if you actually went out of your way to follow this shit. Like you had to read a newspaper, you had to turn on Fox News. Now, literally every person that we know is on Twitter or Facebook. So the politics is going to be in your face no matter what. You know what I mean? You could have went your whole fucking life and not knew anything about what's going on. But today, that's damn near impossible. You'd have to live like in a mountain somewhere.
Or everybody is a Instagram politician, so or a Facebook politician, a Twitter politician. They've never read a policy a day in their life, but they know so much about every policy that's out there. It's like, how the fuck you don't even read shit, motherfucker. You get sound bites off the internet, and all of a sudden you like a democracy expert. Like,
joke's on you. You can't read.
Yeah.
I promise you, bro. Like, I feel like this applies to every single subject. Like, the niggas who are the most confident about their knowledge are the niggas who know the least. I promise you. Like, I've seen this so much. Like, nigga, you absolutely don't know what you're talking about, but you're so confident that you're smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy. Because it just traps you into the cycle. Because, like, you can't fix the problem if you don't understand the problem, and the problem is that you're stupid. You know what
I mean, the nurses at my new job be trying to tell me how to do my job, and then one of the nurses got mad at me because I was like, "You went to school for IT?" She was like, "No." I said exactly, and like walked away. Like I was just like, "All right, bitch, like leave me alone, man."
Oh wow, canceled.
But I could tell you how to do your job because I was in the medical field, but I'm not gonna go that way because you was in it a little bit. You in it longer than I was, so I'm gonna let you have it. And you let me. And even this one lady was like, "Y'all here every day," and I was just like, "Don't you clock in every day?" She was like, "Yeah," and I was just like, "So what's the problem?" Like I'm lost.
How dare you go to work?
I don't know if we had this conversation on work or on Wax, but probably one of the most obnoxious debates that I've had was when I was at the base, and niggas was telling me about how owners don't care about winning games, like owners of sports franchises don't care about winning games.
That don't make sense.
So I'm explaining to these niggas yeah, like these niggas have other things going on. So you're like an owner, you Peterson Charles, you're an owner of a team because you already made money somewhere else. Like you make oil money, right?
Yeah.
You bought the team as both an investment and like a hobby, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's still your fucking team, and you wouldn't want to own it unless you're maximizing your profits. And you're maximizing your profits when the team's winning. And I swear to God, like this, like anything that I'm saying, like completely out of bounds, or is this like common sense?
No, that's common sense. I feel like
I was the only person like everybody was looking at me like I was fucking crazy. So I was like, why do GMs get fired? Like, why do coaches get fired? And they're like, it's because there's a special clause in the NBA contract. And I'm like, what clause are you talking about? And they're like, we don't know.
So I'm like, fired clause, bro. Duh.
Now that's what they're saying. Like they're saying that if you don't keep up with the program, you're basically firing the GM for like aesthetics to make the fans look like you give a fuck. And I'm like, all right, like I'm just explaining the basic concepts of capitalism, which we all fucking exist under. And you rather believe in an imaginary clause in a contract that you never read than just believe in common sense. And I got these niggas who never watched a sports game in their fucking life telling me, yes, this is exactly how it works. I'm like, okay.
Well, so like when it comes to sports and ownership, it's a little weird because believe it or not, most teams, like most owners, it's not a very lucrative investment. Like sometimes you're just barely even or you're barely profitable, or in some teams, probably like the fucking Thunder, you're going to be in the red. The value, and to your point though, you're not wrong either. Like the way that your value increases significantly is from wins, right? Is from fucking being in the playoffs, like your value goes up significantly that way. But a lot of times, like you're kind of in the red, if not breaking even. What happens is you buy the team at whatever price, but then the value of the team increases gradually. So then once you do eventually sell it, that's when you make your money. But more often than not, like teams themselves aren't necessarily a super profitable business compared to like their fucking oil or whatever, where hedge funds, like wherever it is they're actually from. So a lot of time owners don't go into it trying to make money necessarily from the teams year over year. It's about the end, like when you do eventually end up selling the team.
But
I
a
mean,
lot of these,
I got two things. I'm sorry, Peterson. I got two things. So the first thing is that a lot of these owners never sell their teams.
and then they bought it way back when it was way cheaper anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys when they were worth pennies in comparison to today.
Yeah,
Yep.
like 30 million, but now it's like a $3 billion franchise. So that's different. You
Right.
made
And
your
that's
money.
Her. But that's
And
an
that's another
asset for
estimate.
him right now. Like, so if he
Yeah.
does sell it, he's fucking $3.5 billion richer.
But the thing is that he's not going to sell it.
I'm saying if, like, it's still an asset that you have in your back pocket. That's when it is you like officially like make your money from owning the team.
So you're like, it's almost like owning a stock at a negative.
I was just
Like,
about to say that.
Mm.
You have to pay a stock negative for 30 years and then you cash out at the end. That's not even smart. You have to be making money on it.
I can't
feel
get
me?
it.
Like, it doesn't make
I
sense.
can't get into necessarily specifics, but I'm telling you, you're not when you own a team, it is not always a profit. Like you're breaking even if slightly above profit. Unless you're a team that's like the fucking Warriors when they got a brand new arena and they had millions, almost billions of dollars in like sponsorship stuff. Like that's kind of a different situation because it's a brand new fucking arena and a lot of shit got paid for through that. But I'm telling you,
And
it's
then
like
the other part that you're ignoring is the Time Warner deal. So they're automatically making money like off of the TV deals and the sponsorships. All right, so let's get past that part, right? Because I wanted to get to the part where how this argument even started, right? And I'm telling you, like, this is crazy. This is just a nigga who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. What he's saying is it's stupid that these GMs are so like they pinch pennies. And I'm like, how do you mean? You know, because you guys know how free agency works, right? Or the salary cap works, right? Where you get to a certain point and you have to start paying a luxury tax, right? And the majority of teams avoid the luxury tax like the fucking plague. Unless you're a team that feels like we have a legitimate shot at winning, you know, like Houston Rockets with James Harden, obviously the Warriors with Durant and Curry in them, they're like, okay, like we might be willing to pay $40 million of luxury tax for a chance to win a championship, right? Which makes complete sense, right? What my friend was saying was, why doesn't everybody do that, right? Like you're going to spend, let's say, $80 million in a cat casualty, yet you're worth billions of dollars. And I'm like, bro, like if that's the logic, why isn't everybody doing it?
Like you can't go. You're gonna go into the luxury tax for fucking or not Aaron Gordon, but fucking Gordon Hayward and like these random like that's what ends up happening with small market teams that you get fucked on is that you end up overpaying for like let's call it B- talent. So then like when it comes to these other teams that are going over the luxury tax, they're going over the luxury tax for people like fucking Kevin Durant, like Steph Curry type of people where like a lot of small markets they'll go over the luxury tax, but then they're going over the luxury tax for fucking mid people, and then you're not doing anything with that.
But I disagree with that too. Like the Lakers with Luol Deng, like the Lakers were also,
and we all agree that was a terrible fucking contract, and they were they were fucked for a while with it.
Right, but I'm saying like the Lakers were also trying to avoid the luxury tax, and they're one of the most valuable teams in the NBA. This isn't specific to small market teams. Everybody's trying to avoid the luxury tax, whether you're Minnesota or whether you're Miami. Right?
Mm.
And what I'm telling this nigga is, listen, like, chances are you're going to get one GM job. If you do a fantastic job, you might get two GM jobs. Like in the history of the NBA, there's like a handful of niggas who got three GM jobs, and that's it. There's nobody who got a fourth, right? So I'm saying, like, if you're a GM, again, I'm going to talk to Peterson, you're a GM. You know that there's a good chance that if you lose this job, you're not going to get another one. You know your fucking boss is a billionaire. why wouldn't you just offer every single free agent and go $200 over $200 million over the salary cap? Why wouldn't you?
You're like actually asking?
I'm legitimately asking. Because them niggas will show up at your house and fucking murder you. That's why like nobody wants to spend $200 million in salary cap casualties. You know what I'm saying? Like
you playing with their money.
Yeah.
Homeboy weird anyways. Like the whole name of the game is with anything in life, you minimize your losses and you maximize your wins. So why would I go over the salary cap and the probability of me winning the championship and bringing more people to my market is slim to none? That's stupid. So if I'm gonna go over, it's gonna be a team that has a higher probability of winning. Normally, that's when they do it. Like it's common sense.
Like because it turned this conversation branched out even more, and like what I run into a lot is that niggas like they apply their logic to other niggas who don't live by their logic. Like when you're talking about a nigga like Jeff Bezos, for example, right? That nigga's in the position that he's in because he's not like us and we're not like him.
Facts.
Right? Like Amazon was like what, his third endeavor, and that nigga spent like 7 years in the red. That means he was eating ramen noodles and sleeping on the floor, right? And once he started getting profitable, it wasn't like the next night that nigga was the richest person on the planet. That nigga had to spend years and years and years building to where he was at. When the pandemic hit, he was in a position where he took over so many markets where he can fucking eat off of everything, right?
He was doing that shit before the pandemic, and his wife made a lot of those connections too, which is crazy.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, in order to get to that point, you have to be extremely disciplined. You have to be dedicated and disciplined, right? Mark Zuckerberg is worth $67 billion, right? Let's say you're working in one of his IT departments. You do some stupid shit and you lose him $50,000, right? You think because he's worth $67 billion, he's going to be like, oh, he's going to slap his knee and laugh?
No, because then if he allow 100,000 of me to do the same thing, his whole thing because it's plummet overnight. So why would you even do that?
It's not going to get to Mark Zuckerberg, obviously, because you're going to have a couple of people in between. But regardless of who it is, they're going to look at you like, nigga, you're not worth $50,000.
No.
So we're going to fucking get rid of you.
But yeah, if you, your homeboy, if you read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he has a poor man's mentality. He don't understand how money or even resources work. That's why he speak on that shit. Like if rice is what's lucrative and I have 50,000 bags of rice, I'm not gonna try to make one bag go spoil every day just because I have a whole bunch. That's stupid. It don't make sense at the end of the day. I'm gonna try to preserve as much bags as possible so that in the future, I don't have to ever think about even going broke. You feel me? Like,
So on that note, because we're getting a little bit close to time, but to transition because we talked about like Mr. Beast. Because I told you I was watching his I watched a snippet of his podcast episode with Joe Rogan, and it's funny because it kind of ties into what we're saying when you talk about like the discipline it takes to be successful and like get out of that kind of poor man mentality type of thing or whatever. And like that man, Mr. Beast, is unreal. First of all, I don't know he was 23. Like this man is 23 and fucking loaded. But then second of all, like he was talking about he was so obsessed with YouTube and so obsessed on trying to be successful with it. Like he would be like on a call. He told me it was, or not me. He in the podcast, he told Joe that it was him and like 3 other people. So these 4 dudes were just on calls from like 10 a.m. to like 10 at night doing case studies to figure out like this video went viral compared to this one for just minor differences on like thumbnails and how bright one thumbnail is compared to the other and trying to correlate that to successful YouTube videos and like trying to figure out the thumbnails, like the lengths, it's unreal. Like the type of shit and meticulousness that this man did to get successful at such a young fucking age. And he was talking about how like he's kind of a rare breed because he was saying how pretty much almost all his money he invests back into the company to make videos. Like, dude was living at a fucking apartment with a roommate, spending like $700 a month on rent type shit for a while he's like a millionaire, and he was just spending the money into the company until he got robbed, and that's when he bought a new house so he could have more security because they robbed his shit. But like, dude lives like a minimalist while being, technically one of the richest people fucking on social media. Like, that shit was wild.
Like the thing, I feel like this ties back into what we were saying, where like you hit, like Mark Zuckerberg hit, a Billy, he hit 10 Billy, he hit 20 Billy, right? Like there comes a point where it doesn't even matter. You can never spend $20 billion. Like, how many generations will it take to spend $20 billion?
I don't even know.
Yet this nigga continues to work like day one. There's just a point where like the money doesn't even matter anymore. Them niggas are just doing it because that is who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's your vision, right? Like, that's your vision. That's your obsession. So you're just chasing that shit the entire time.
Like these niggas, like a lot of these niggas who are in these positions, like they can live off of making, $1 million a year, and they'll live very comfortably. You know what I'm saying? But yet they're worth billions and billions of dollars. And that's just billions of dollars. That's just a consequence of them chasing what they know and what they love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the only thing I don't like about that YouTube stuff, it is where I connected to the rapping game. Like, I don't know if y'all know who Ryan is. I only know of him because of Jay, of course. It's a little Asian boy that unboxes toys on YouTube. He made the most
review.
He made the most out of any YouTuber in 1 year. He made $27 million. But you have,
I said, I know who that is.
You will have certain people like a DDG that I guess he was a YouTuber first, but I met him as a rapper. He said he made 100 million off of YouTube. That's cap. Like,
how's it cap?
Because he made 100 million 1 year off of YouTube. This is public knowledge. Like, YouTube published that Ryan made the most, which was 27 million. Like, their platform themselves said that. So a lot of these YouTubers, I be telling Jay to be careful with that. They play on this image, just fake it till you make it. It's just like most rappers do. Like, a lot of these rappers, a lot of people don't realize some of these, like Lil Pump, when he first came into the game, he was like, "Oh, I got a $15 million contract." That's cap. I'm not giving you 15 mil because my return on investment, I'm not gonna get that back off of a Lil Pump.
All right, so like, I hate to disagree with you, Pete, but like, he actually did.
No, but I just use Lil Pump as an example. But I'm saying, like, it'll be Lil Pump did get that. Lil Uzi got something similar, but that's not every rapper that comes out and say that. Just like, this is what Lil Baby did in the beginning, because Coach K and P said it too. He said, I made 200 occasion. When he said that, he didn't make 200 occasion. But now, since he boomed, which is crazy psychology, he made 400,000 an occasion now. Like, to do a big venue, they have to give him 400,000, whatever. But that's not every rapper that's doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and their album sales going to play to show you the rappers that's doing that. Like, just like Coi Leray, Benzino's daughter. I don't know if you follow her too, but she said she was the most popping hip hop artist, whatever at the moment. You know what was her first week sales on her album?
I saw somewhere it was like 6,000 or something like that.
9K. 9K.
I feel like if Woodcrest did a Christian rap group with some 9K.
You get what I'm saying? So a lot of these people play. I just use them as an example, but a lot of people play on this fake it till you make it shit. Like, they have the numbers out there. You could literally go out there and look at them. Like, just
all right,
like,
and then to I guess that's a follow-up question to kind of play devil's advocate, but like, so you're just looking at the album money there, but like, isn't there a lot more shit that gets tied into being profitable, like the YouTube shit, like the stream shit? Like, sponsors or whatever.
Yes,
Facts,
and,
but they
and
correlate.
you can find all those numbers as well.
Yeah, and they correlate. Like versus a Drake making 400,000 the first week, and the correlate making 9,000 the first week. They correlate because your album sales leads into ticket sales, then it leads into merch sales. If nobody's buying your album, I'm not buying your merch. You're not gonna see too much people walking around in your shirt. This is don't. It's just like Nav. He's a marketing genius. The dude from he said a brown boy from Canada, right? That's what he calls himself. He did for his album sales to go up. He did a collab with Vlone, right? Vlone boosts his album sales to like 250K the first week, but you was getting a t-shirt that everybody's hype about, right? And then on top of the t-shirt, you was getting a ticket to one of his shows, that a big show that he did in Canada. But that translates. Now you getting more people, more eyes on you. You get what I'm saying? Like now you getting a whole bunch of people to even collab with you. Okay, now you got the t-shirt. Now you got the ticket sale. Now you got the album sales. Boom, right? But a Coyle Ray, that's cap. She's not making the same as a Drake, because she'll sit there and get on. They'll be like, "Yeah, I'm making 200,000 a show." No, you're not. Like,
So I'm gonna also play devil's advocate. Are we like advocating against this, or like what's our stance here?
no, I'm not. I'm not advocating against it, because I get it. You have to wear the persona until you become the persona eventually. You get what I'm saying? But I just feel like sometimes the transparency make a lot of these. This is where it goes left for me. And make a lot of these kids, because at Nike, I know like 40 rappers. Like, just because they look at these people and these assumptions that they doing all of this. A whole bunch. Like, just I'm talking about Nike. Like,
You got some 6ix9ines in there, bro.
Bro, how is 6ix9ine so fucking rich though? I shouldn't say still, but like, I don't understand how these dudes spend all this money on shit, and how he just has so much fucking money that he's just throwing in his damn trunk of his car and fucking walking on the street with. Like, look at all this shit. Like, I don't know. You don't want to put it in a bank? Like, I don't get it.
Don't. All right. So this goes into what Peterson's saying. Like, don't buy too much into it. Like, because they get advances that are not even theirs. Like, they're getting advances to like put money into like distribution and creating the album and shit like that. And you can easily cash that check, walk around with that money, and then throw it
put it back. Yeah, like you get what I'm saying. So you'll get a $2 million advance, right? But that 2 million, like what Chris said, got to go into shooting music videos, wardrobe. So by the time you walk away with it, even T-Pain, cause he has a little podcast. He said, "Dog, for certain advances, you'll be lucky if you walk away with 30,000 sometimes." I think his first advance, I think with Akon, I think he only walked away with 15K, bro. 15K.
Yeah.
But it looked like he had all this money.
Because T-Pain was like, at that point at time, he was one of like what, the 5 or 10 biggest artists. Like, he was huge.
He probably was in the top 3 easily at one point. Like, he was booming. Like,
I feel like Wayne and Kanye, like, you could argue that he was number 3.
That's what I'm saying. So if a T-Pain, right, at the height of his career, walked away with only 15K, this, you know how much cappery is going on?
Wait,
that's not a word, but
is 6ix9ine signed somewhere? I thought he wasn't signed somewhere.
I believe he is. He got his music deal back before Dummy Boy. He got his record deal.
I think he signed with where Cardi B is signed at, ain't it? Interscope, I believe.
It's like one of those. It's one of those major labels. It's like Columbia or something like that.
I'm pretty sure he signed, but even T-Pain broke it. Like me, I'm a numbers guy, so when I see numbers, I automatically
like numbers.
yeah, we know. I automatically want to go research and break it down, like, and be like, why is these people like again the DDG? And I get it, because you have to play like you that guy, so everybody believes you that guy.
Bro, momentum, bro.
Yeah, to invest in that guy. Then when you finally become that guy, you're like, boom, I'm here. So at this point, I'm stuck. You feel me? But how you just say you made 100 million off YouTube in 1 year, and that's not the truth, bro? Like
what's nice about this era is that Takashi, for example, I don't know what type of money he's making on his music. I can't imagine it's anywhere near pre-jail. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe it is. But he is viral.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to break these percentages down. I know once you get to a certain number, like social media platforms start paying you.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that going for him.
That's not even always true too. A lot of people don't speak on that, because I don't know if y'all know who y'all, because it's y'all community. LeJuan James.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I used to work with him. That used to be my supervisor. I worked with him for like almost 3 years.
Mm.
He told me, he was like, yo, because Vine is what really made him boom first. He said in the beginning, if it wasn't for like the T-Mobile contract, Telemundo, Metro, and all that, he said, bro, I was not making no money. Like, I was just getting the views. I was getting the eyes on me. So now if I had some type of, he said the biggest mistake he did in the beginning was not have merch to go along. That's why I think Snoop Dogg said it. If you viral, have some type of product attached. No, it wasn't Snoop Dogg. It was Master P. Have some type of product attached to your viralness, so you have something to push. You get even.
I think it also depends on the platform though, because like people who are like fucking blown up on TikTok, for example, like they'll make a little bit of money, but if that same following is on YouTube, like they'll make more.
Yeah,
they'll like way more on YouTube than they would like on TikTok. TikTok just kind of gets your eyes out there, like get the eyes out there. But to your point, is like if you don't have something that you're trying to push them to, like other means are gonna have more revenue that'll come in.
It's only because YouTube's easier to monetize. Like you got to watch a commercial before you watch a video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm saying. Like once you go viral, that's when the other stuff starts happening. That's when T-Mobile hits you up. That's when green tea hits you up. Like whatever. Like that's when the money starts coming in. When people can start taking advantage of your popularity.
Yeah. But even in that sense, they have a product behind you. It's not just the eyes. You get what I'm saying? Like it's something attached to you that's going to generate that income. Because a lot of it was a dude in Orlando off of Vine. A lot of these Vine dudes that thought just because I went viral, I'm gonna get rich. A lot of them fucked up and looking crazy right now because they never did more than just Vine. And then when Vine plummeted, it's like, bro, what now? Like you're not gonna get that same traction off of Facebook because your 15 minutes of fame died down. So
no.
Moral of the story. Sorry, go ahead, David.
I was gonna say LeJuan James, yes, know who that is. He's hilarious. He tells a lot of stories that I can relate to.
Moral of the story. We got to figure out what Mr. Beast knows so our podcast could pop off.
We need to start giving people free shit, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yo, dude. So on that, no, he was saying how, or Joe Rogan was saying how, this man, so he spent $4 million on creating Squid Game, but in real life, like the facility type shit. And like his YouTube videos of Squid Game has gotten more views than actual Squid Game on Netflix, which is crazy.
I don't believe that shit.
I mean, it's out there, bro, for you to see.
Are you sure you look at the numbers properly?
I could believe that because Mr. Beast, if not now, I think he's the number one YouTuber.
He is. He has the number one. Like I said, he has the most subscribers off of different platforms too. Because he was saying how, so like he has a bunch of different channels.
Yeah,
which is super smart. Because he was saying how he did research and it's like 80% of the world can't consume your content because it's in English. So he has a bunch of different channels where he has like people dub his videos in Spanish and fucking, and he was talking about he has someone in Japan that dubs his shit. I don't know about China, but like in Argentina, like he has different channels for all these different areas for all these people to will to consume his shit. And he was saying like his most booming channel has been like his Spanish one over the last year. Just from having them decide whether they could actually consume his content type of shit. So like he's got 200 plus million subscribers, dog. Like
which is hilarious.
sorry, what
Which
happened?
is hilarious. I had the same debate with a coworker of mine because he's saying that on YouTube, like these reggaeton artists like eat way better than rappers do, and I'm like, yeah, fuck out of here. And I was looking at Bad Bunny's numbers in comparison to like Drake and all them, and he's fucking murdering niggas, like blowing people out of the water.
But that's
I don't
common
know.
sense.
He's an outlier, bro. He's a god. So
No, but that's common sense though. It's more Spanish countries than any other countries in the world. I think in totality, the Spanish countries rule. They dominate.
Right,
Dude.
but then like, they're also listening to our shit as well. Like niggas in Dominican Republic also listen to Drake.
Yeah, but it's easier to
Drake.
listen to Bad Bunny than it is to Drake, though. You don't think that makes more sense?
No, I feel you, but like I'm saying, like Bad Bunny is obviously going to be more popular in a place like Colombia than it is in fucking England, right? Obviously,
Yes. Yeah.
right. But I'm saying that like Drake is also popping in Colombia. Is Bad Bunny popping in England? And I would probably say no. You feel me? That's why I always assume like, yeah, it's going to be like we have way more money behind these English artists and a lot more people can relate to them. But the severity, like it's basically like Bad Bunny holds these spots so tightly that he doesn't need the rest of the world. He just needs these spots to win everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, which it did surprise me. And
Bro.
you said he's a lot outlier, but it's not. Like it's not just Bad Bunny. Like the
it's
top
probably Daddy Yankee too.
like the
He's
top
OG.
20 reggaeton artists are blowing the top 20 hip hop artists out the water.
Yeah.
Bro, so the Mr. Beast Squid Game episode or video on YouTube got 242 million views, dog.
That's a lot of
That's a lot of fucking views,
yeah,
bro.
that's a lot of views.
Like I'm telling you, they said that his shit got more views than the people that watched Squid Game.
Man, nigga, I gotta believe there's more than 240 niggas who watch Squid Games.
Bro,
240 million people?
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Like, aren't like Netflix accounts like shared? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's accurate. Cause like I was watching Squid Games in a room with like 4 other people, but it only counted as one.
I mean, but you could say the same shit
thing on
with
YouTube,
videos.
Yeah, but like you're most likely gonna be watching a YouTube video by yourself.
To that point, Chris. So let me see. There are 221.8 million Netflix subscribers. Granted, I understand what you're saying, that like people share accounts or whatever. But just to think that there's 228 Netflix subscribers as a whole, and this man has 242 million views.
Yeah, like I don't think you, Mr. Beast. I don't think you understand like the magnitude. Like this man brings in like 70-year-olds to like 2-year-olds. Like Jay and Christina, which is technically his aunt, but she's younger than him. That's Taylor's mom's youngest child. They came up to me like Mr. Beast, and I'm like, who the fuck is this Mr. Beast guy? Like, so when I went in YouTube, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and this dude would sit there, he'll give away 100,000 of these iPhones. But that's why I even go back, because then I figured out he did some partnership with Apple. Again, you know, people do these little fucking images without telling the backstory. Like, you thinking that he bought all these phones and gave them away. No, it's a partnership. But then people, especially kids, buy into this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, so like, yeah, you have a partnership. They probably gave him, you know, let's call it like 20 cents off the fucking dollar or whatever for buying this many in a row. Like he's still dropping bread on it, dog. Like they didn't
Nah,
give him 100,000 iPhones for free, bro.
that's not how businesses work, though. Just like you know what, Ninja,
Bro,
right?
but you think that Apple gave him 100,000? How many phones did you say it was?
It was like some crazy
You said
amount,
like
but
10,000 or something like that.
I don't think Apple gave him all of it. But this is marketing. This is where the
Yeah, but I'm
comes
saying
from.
like he definitely put money on that shit. Like he spent
Yes.
money. Like he didn't get. He's go ahead, Cruz.
Let me interject.
Go ahead.
Like these guys have budgets of hundreds of millions of dollars for advertising.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so Chris gets it.
But they're
And,
not
like,
gonna give him phones for free, dog.
that's my second point. That like we're paying $900 retail for Apple iPhones, but they cost like $60 to make.
Yeah, if that too.
That's
So
what I'm saying. Like I feel like they gave him that fucking, whatever that market price is on their end, but he still spent the money on it.
What I'm saying is that like it's nothing for them because they were gonna spend $250 million on advertising regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to give him so many phones for nothing, so that you said it yourself that 240 million people are watching this
That's
video.
that's what I was going to see. Chris is putting one side to the other side, and that's what I be trying to explain to even Jay, because Jay be like, bro, I don't get it. I'm like, listen, it's marketing schemes. Like, I'm gonna give you these 10,000 phones, but on the back end, you're gonna sell 100 million of these phones for me because you connected to way more people than I am visually. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now all these, because what really sells is these fucking kids, bro. Like, I need to create something to these fucking kids. Like, because all they gotta do is tug on their mom and dad, be like, yo, I want that because Mr. B said it's cool.
That's why Joe Rogan should have said like that's how you found out about Mr. Beast, because his daughter told him about him.
You get what I'm
brought
saying?
his ass onto the show.
Now he interviewing the little motherfucker, like the young motherfucker, the rich motherfucker, like
yo. So like my friend, like a close friend of mine, his kids, he got kids, and his kids are obsessed with this one YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel is like low budget, like the same quality of like the soap operas during daytime television. Like, I don't know if you ever like seen them shits before.
Yes.
But like it's that same quality, but like directed at kids on YouTube. So
it's
like it'll be
it's a family doing it.
Well, I know it's one dude. I don't know if it's a family backing him. I don't know enough about it because I watched the video and I was like, what the fuck is this? So I just want to like explain the one video that I seen. Essentially, they had a Christmas party and they were supposed to buy gifts for one another. And there was this lady, she was black, and she made less money than the rest of them. and basically, the other mom shamed her for not spending more money on the gift, right? And then at the end of the day, it's supposed to be this warm moment because, like, the black lady has a strong relationship with their family. And then the other white lady is like labeled as materialistic, I guess. And this is me stretching it because I really don't think there was a lesson there. And Amaya is sitting there eating this shit up. Amaya is my friend's daughter. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? But she sits there and watches these shows all fucking day. Yeah, like I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is that kids will fucking make you rich off of nonsense.
Off of literally, no, the little kid Ryan will get like this Pokemon game, right? And be like,
And he
look,
opens it.
and opens it like, oh my God, it is Brilliant Diamond in here. No shit, it says it right here.
I seen a couple of his videos, bro. Like the nigga will be like, he'll open like the package to an action figure, and then he'll move the action figure's arms, like, oh, look.
Yeah. And that shit get like 215 million views, and I'm like, God damn, like he literally just opened the fucking toy. Like,
this is wild.
Crazy, bro.
Shit's wild. Could have been us. Could have been us. Hey, bro, like David, that could have been you and baby David, bro. We
Facts.
fucked up.
Yeah, fucking David. We could have been at our wall.
Come on, bro. We could have had the whale, dog. We could have had that shit so long ago.
Tighten up, David. God damn it.
Chris, why don't you just never mind?
Why don't you have a kid? That's
Yeah. Well, it's too late now. Fucking
money,
this kid.
All this money that you owe me, I might.
I'll buy that baby straight cash.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're at time. Again,
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. I did that on purpose. Yeah, I knew that. No. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.